What if I told you that the greatest empires in history didn't rule with swords alone, that their true power came from something invisible, something that still controls your mind today? These ancient rulers mastered the dark psychology of fear, belief, and manipulation. And the truth is, you're not as free from their tricks as you think. Welcome to Darkology. In this video, we'll uncover forgotten psychological tricks that ancient empires used to control millions of people. Tricks so powerful that entire civilizations were built on them. These weren't just strategies, they were weapons of the mind. And once you see them, you'll start recognizing how they still shape the world around you. Let's begin with the oldest and most powerful weapon of all. In ancient times, rulers knew one simple truth. People fear what they don't understand. Empires like the Egyptians, Babylonians, and Mayans used religion and superstition to control their people. They told stories of gods who punished disobedience with plagues, curses, and eternal suffering. And here's the psychology. When fear is tied to something invisible, something you can't escape, it becomes the strongest leash. People didn't just fear soldiers, they feared the wrath of the heavens themselves. Think about it. If you truly believe the gods are watching, you don't need guards on every corner. Your own mind becomes a prison, but fear wasn't enough. Rulers needed people to see their power every single day. That's where symbols and architecture came in. The Romans built massive temples and statues of their emperors. The Egyptians built pyramids that still leave us speechless. Every stone whispered the same message. Our power is eternal. Our rule is divine. Psychologically, humans are wired to respond to symbols. A flag, a crown, even a carved eagle. These simple images trigger feelings of unity, loyalty, and submission. Ancient leaders knew that a symbol was more powerful than 1,000 laws. Because once the symbol lived in your mind, you obeyed without question. And then there were the stories. Empires were not just built on weapons. They were built on words. Kings and priests crafted myths that shape reality itself. Stories of chosen rulers, divine bloodlines, and heroic ancestors made people believe their leaders weren't just human. They were destined to rule. Here's the psychological trick. When you give people a story to believe in, they'll accept almost anything. A good myth doesn't just entertain, it programs loyalty, fear. Symbols, stories, these are first tools of mass control. But they were only the beginning, because ancient empires had even darker tricks hidden up their sleeves. And once you learn them, you'll realize they never truly went away. But fear, symbols, and stories were just a foundation. The real mastery of ancient empires came from dividing people and then ruling them with precision. The Romans perfected this strategy. Instead of uniting the conquered, they split them into groups, tribes, and classes. Each group believed the other was the enemy, while Rome positioned itself as the only power strong enough to keep the peace. The psychology here is simple but devastating. When people are busy fighting each other, they never notice who is truly pulling the strings. Division creates weakness, and weakness makes control effortless. Yet division was not enough. Rulers also needed balance, a system of rewards and punishments that trained entire populations like obedient followers. The Roman phrase was simple: bread and games. Give people food and entertainment, and they will remain quiet, even in chains. But the darker side was public punishment. Crucifixions, executions, and torture were not just acts of justice. They were psychological performances. They burned fear into the minds of the masses. Every reward made the people grateful. Every punishment made them terrified. Together, it created a cycle of obedience that no army could match. And this was not unique to Rome. Ancient China used strict laws and brutal consequences to maintain order, while also rewarding loyalty with positions, gifts, and honor. The Egyptians gave their priests and loyal nobles wealth, land, and status, while enemies were crushed in public displays of power. The trick was always the same: mix pleasure with pain, hope with fear. The brain becomes addicted to rewards and terrified of punishments, creating citizens who police themselves without realizing it. But the darkest truth of all is this: none of these tricks have disappeared. You can still see them today. Politicians divide nations into groups and keep them fighting over identity, race, or class. Leaders hand out rewards through money, subsidies, or recognition, while punishing enemies with fines, shame, or exclusion. And entertainment. the modern version of bread and games, distracts the masses from reality of who truly holds the power. So ask yourself this. Are we really so different from the people of ancient empires? Or are we still living under the same psychological tricks, just dressed in modern clothes? The deeper you look, the clearer it becomes. Ancient empires may have fallen, but their psychology never died. Fear, symbols, stories, division, rewards, and punishments. These tools have been recycled for thousands of years. They ruled kings and slaves, emperors and peasants, and now they rule us in ways most people never question. Think about the last time fear guided your decision. Was it truly your choice, or was it planted in your mind? Look at the symbols around you. Flags, logos, monuments. Do they represent freedom, or do they quietly remind you who hold the power? Listen to the stories repeated by leaders, media, and institutions. Are they truths or carefully crafted myths designed to keep you loyal? The most dangerous part of these ancient tricks is not that they existed long ago. It's that they are invisible today. When manipulation feels normal, when control feels natural, you stop resisting it. And that is exactly how empires rise and survive. But here's the paradox. Once you can see the tricks, they lose their power. Awareness is the first step toward freedom. The ancient rulers knew that knowledge was dangerous, and that's why they kept their secrets hidden. But today, those secrets are finally being revealed. So the question is, will you open your eyes, or will you remain under the same shadows that ruled our ancestors? If you're ready to uncover more of these hidden truths, subscribe to Dark Syllogy and join us as we expose the mind games that still shape our world. Because the empire never truly ended. It simply changed its disguise.